In the last session, we were actually discussing the table calculations functions we have available to build our own custom table calculations. So for example, if you go here, table calculation, these are all table calculation functions with which you can develop your own custom table calculations. And the last session we went through some of these functions which are so called helper functions. If you would recollect, these are the few functions that we went through. So for example, index, which gives us just the row level index number based on the view, and the first value, first helper function will give us the distance between the current row in which you are in to the first row in the defined scope. Similarly, last function will give us the distance to the last row, and the size will give us the number of rows in the given scope. And we also saw lookup function, which takes two parameters. One is the column, which is basically the expression which you want to look into, and the offset. So by what offset you want to get the value. For example, in this lookup function here, we can see we are pulling up the previous quarter sales by giving two expressions: lookup sum sales. If you can see it. So look up sum sales. So we'll go to the sum sales column, and give an offset of -4. So for each row, so here these are blank because we don't have values for minus with the offset of -4. So this is the first value with the offset of -4 we can get. So it's just pulling the previous year quarter values respectively. So these are some functions we saw in the last session. We'll explore the other functions that we have in the table calculation bunch, and we'll see what we can do from there.
Hey Jagdish, that offset is always for the row, right? Because we're already specifying the column. Is that how it works?
No, offset can work column wise as well. Since we are this table calculation is working table down.
Okay.
The offset is working on a down row wise. So if it's across, then it will take the columns. Offset will work columns.
Okay. In this particular case, because
the calculation is going down.
Calculation is like that. Okay.
So today we'll focus on some other functions. So this is a simple table that I had from the Superstore data for each of the weekday in each of the categories, how the sales are happening, and I've put up some grand total columns to just verify our calculation functions. So let me go to the functions that we have to see. Table calculations. We saw first, index, last, lookup, previous value also we saw, and we have rank function, which is pretty much same. You can understand. Basically, it gives us the rank value, rank of sum of sales. Now this default calculations, we can specify. If you see the view, we have two dimensions. One is category and one is the order date. Okay, and now we can go here and specify how this rank should be calculated. Since it's a table calculation, we have to specify the direction. So compute using order date. So since we have the day part as from the order date in the view, whatever the date part we have in the view, it will calculate based on that. So order date, and I'll click OK. It will give me rank. So for each in each of these categories, it's giving me so basically it's a rank. Grand total is taking as so wherever the highest sales are there, it's giving me rank 1, and the likewise. So it's a normal functionality that you guys are already aware of. So edit. Similarly, we have these are some other variations of the rank function. From here, rank dense. If you would remember that we recall them, we discussed these things in the earlier. So rank dense would give us. So if you see the example here, if there are two values with the same two individuals with the same value, then it will just replicate the same ranks for both of them and continue with the next rank from the last one. Whereas rank will only give the same ranks. It will give the same ranks for the same individuals, but it will skip out the whatever the number of repetitions it is given. So it will continue from 4. And rank modified will take the other way around as rank tens. So it will give us rank 3 for all the repetitive values wherever it is, and will continue with the next value. Rank percentile is same. Instead of giving you the rank as 1 2 3 4, it will give you the percentile based on the rank. Rank unique will give you one rank for each and every value irrespective of the repetitions. Then we have so these are rank functions. Then we have a bunch called running. So running calculation functions. These are pretty straightforward. Let's demonstrate using one example, and we'll go to the other bunch of the functions. So for example, let's take running. So these are the running functions that we have: running min, running max, running count, running average. The functionality is the last function that itself varies, but the working of each of these functions will remain same. So it asks for a simple expression, only one parameter. So I'll give you some sales. And calculate this across my order date. Okay. So as I progress across these my day of the week, my sum of the sales are just getting added and to get the cumulative value, which is matching in the last value. So likewise, if I use for table calculation running max or min or count, I can get those values as well. If I want average, I can get the average, running average as well. So those are the running functions. And the next set of functions that you can see here, the script, bool, everything that starts with the script, these 4 functions. These are normally not used in any of the Tableau visualizations normally. These are the functions basically used to integrate Python and R scripts into Tableau, which is a very rare people very rarely come across those things, and currently we don't have enough resources to explain how these functionalities work, so we'll skip them for now. So then we have size function, which you know, total function, which you already know. These are the some of other 2 helper functions which we have. Total will just give us the total value in the given window. For example, if we give the total and give this window as sum of sales, it will just give us the total value for that expression. Then we have the other set of functions which are called window functions. Now these are very important functions. Let me just window, and these are the different types of functions we have, like average. We'll go through them. Window, let's for now we'll focus on window sum to understand the working of these functions. Window sum. So if you see, it asks for 3 parameters. One is the expression, just like lookup function, if you remember. It asks for expression and an offset. Here it asks for an expression and a start and an end value, both. So it asks for 2 offsets instead of 1 offset. So I'll give sum of sales, and it asks for the start value. Let me explain what it means. Let's say, let me just give for the time being 1, and let me just give for the 1 and 0 and 1. So if you remember, I gave start value as 0, end value as 1. Let's see how the results are. So what it is doing here is, it's basically taking this value and this value in whatever the cell that you are. It is taking the current cell value and the next value to it and adding up and giving us as a some value. So when I'm here, it's taking my sales value in this cell and in this cell and giving it is here in this likewise for all. And here, since we don't have next cell here for this Saturday cell, it's taking only the current cell value and giving us cell value. So the thing that we need to understand here is the values that we gave as start and end. These are relative to the position which No, they're actually so position irrelative. So what I mean by that is, so whatever the cell that which you are in will become automatically the zero. So when I'm here, this cell is zero position. When I'm here, my position of is zero. So my position will always be zero, and based on that, so you can think of it as an origin. Based on that, you are giving where how many steps you should go to the right and how many steps you should go to the left. So as of now, this is my position 0, and I'm giving go one step forward. So this is 0, so one step forward. When I'm here, my position is 0, go one step forward. My calculation should go in these 2 steps. So if I give my position as 2 to end at 2, then it will take my when I'm here, my position is 0, it will take for next 2 steps. So these three would be in calculation for the first cell. Next, likewise for second box, it will take the next 2. Now I can go with negative values as well, like we did in the lookup function. So for example, -1 1. So this will give me, so here my value is 0 as it is, so it will check for 1 minus from to start with. So since there is no 1 minus, it will start with the 0 here only, and will go till 1 step further. Since when I come to here to calculate, it will go 1 minus 1. So it will give me sum of all these 3 as a value in this second box. Likewise, so this functionality, the start and end works like that. So I can use these whatever the numbers to get the based on my requirement. I can use change the start and end to satisfy my use case. So at this point in time, it gives me for the previous 2 values and the next 2 values that are running sum. I can change the function as I want it. If I don't want sum, I'm not interested in sum, I can go for correlation or count or average, etc., etc. Mostly we'll be using for average these sort of windows, and yeah. Now let's explore other things. So if you see, let's say any questions so far and understanding how window sum and the parameters work?
Jagdish, if in some case, if you don't give start and in that case, what will be? Will it show some error, or by default it will assume something and the calculation?
By default, it will assign something. So it's at the moment it's taking all the scope of the table calculation to give the sum. Understood?
Yeah, understood.
Yeah. If I change my calculation scope, then based on that scope, my value will change.
So this one, the one that you computed, you calculated using pane, is it?
The table
pane across, right? Table across, is it? Achha, okay.
Yes, it's both are same actually. Since we have table, if I do order date or table across based on the current view, it's the same. So if I change, even if I change it to table across, the values didn't change.
Okay, got it.
So
got it. Okay. Yeah.
Now the thing is, okay, so but the start and end based on these values, we can play with it. But let's say if I want to have a use case where I want to get the average, let's say, so I will
Hey guys, are you able to hear Jagdish?
No, Chetan, actually. Hello, Jagdish.
Oh, okay. Jagdish, your audio is not coming through.
I will ping him.
Okay.
Yeah, I was asking. So, were you able to hear my question? Like, I was asking that I want.
Just per minute actually.
Okay. So I want a case where I have a use case where I want to get the average for as I progress across the table. I want my average to calculated for all the values wherever I am before for all the previous cells. For example, when I'm in Tuesday, it should calculate from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. When I'm in Thursday, Sunday to Thursday. So I was asking, how do we achieve that using this window average function? So I have obviously my window average, my sum of sales should be my first parameter, my start and end. So if you would see here, if you just think about how the calculation works, when I'm here, my start should be 0, my end should be 0, because my calculation should both start and end in the same cell. When I'm here, my calculation should start at -1 and it should end at 0. Okay, when I'm here, my calculation should start at -2, -1, -2, and it should end at 0. Likewise, when I'm here, it should start at -4 and it should end at 0. When I'm here, likewise, so when I'm here, it should start at -7 or something 6, and it should end at 0. So before, we used to give a fixed set of start and end, like -1 and 1. This is a fixed set, but for the use case that which I'm discussing now, this fixed set of start and end values will not work. My start value should be dynamically changed as I progress across my table across. As you can see, my start value here should be 0, here should be -1, here it should be -2. Can you think of a function that can give us those dynamic values?
Yeah, first and 0. First comma 0.
Yeah. So if you would remember that my first function will give me exactly what I want. So here it is 0, here it is -1, here it is -2, here is minus, and likewise. So I can use this to change my window function to be dynamically assigned the start and value. So I'll give my first, and my second parameter should be
0, because you want till that point, right?
that to be fixed. Yeah, my second parameter n should be fixed. So now it gives me some window average or sum. Window sum. Okay, sum is also better. So it's basically giving me sum when I'm till here only for 2 cells, 3 cells, and 4 cells likewise. So now let's say what happens if I give this now, first and last.
It will take total entire from Sunday to Saturday.
Okay, so it'll for here what value I will get here?
It's like over there, it's 4744557. That's grand total.
Yeah, so the grand total will be repeated for everything.
Correct.
So because for when I have first and last, yeah, so it's basically taking start from 0, which is the current cell, and go till 6 steps further. So 6 steps further means Saturday. So it will take all the scope window is covered. When I'm here, go to from -1, go to 5 steps further. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all the steps are covered. Likewise, so the first and last will always cover the entire scope. Now let's say if I want the reverse of what the function that I had earlier, let's say I want to start from here for some reason and take the sum for rest of the things, not leaving the Sunday. I want to calculate for all other things. Then it's just the same thing that we did earlier. What I have to do is, so if you would see my start should be 0, because I have to start from the cell where I am, and my end should be dynamic here instead of the first. My end should be here. My end should be 4 steps further. So I'll just fix my first as 0 and give last as last. So it will give me sum for the rest of the things. So here it will be sum for all the things. Here it will be sum for from Monday to Saturday. Here from Thursday to Saturday. likewise. So you understood how we can use the first and last functions to make these windows dynamically changed as we progress across the scope of the table. So let's see some other window functions here, for example. So running some, we saw window average is same. So window correlation is a little slightly different function. You understand correlation, right? It will basically gives us how two variables are correlated to each other. Window correlation, if you see here, since window correlation is always between two values, you can't expect if there is only one variable that you wanted, there is no question of correlation. Correlation always involves two variables, so it asks for two variables. So let's have a okay, I have a table like this where for each of the month I have sales and profit split across the category. Okay, now I will create a function that says window correlation. My first expression is sum of sales, the second expression is profit, and let's for the time being, let's assume let's take entire scope. So that means by default I have to take this, or I cannot I can leave the start and end without any values. So yeah, and I'll set across the order date. I'll click OK, and I'll pull this value here. So yeah, is what it's giving me is, so my correlation value for in each of this category, how my sales and profit are correlated. So for example, you can see stronger correlation in the products related to office supply category of 0.97 between sales and profit, whereas in furniture we were seeing the low correlation when compared to the other two categories. So table calculation and pretty much other functions are also the working of other functions. You understood how the window functions work, and the other things are just the statistical function that you're very much aware of. This is the count. This is a covariance between two variables: covariance, sample covariance, and population covariance. Maximum value, median value, minimum value is percentile value. In a particular given window, it will give you the percentile. Then we have standard deviation, sample value, standard deviation, population, sum, and variance, sample and variance population. These are all simple. So it's important that you understand the working behind these functions. So given that, let's take just few examples and close the session for today. So for example, now all the theory that is required how to work with the table calculations, all the functions and how they work is already been discussed. So we'll try and see if we can create some of the quick table calculations custom with our own code. Let's say these are a few of the quick table calculations we have. We have running total. Running total is it's a very simple, straightforward. We have running sum function which is equivalent to running total. Once you use that function and give the expression sales and define the scope, it will give you that. So now let's say we want to take the difference. Now how will you take the difference? Let's say I want to calculate a difference from I want to, so let's go across table across. I just want to calculate the difference of the current value from the previous value. So for example, in Monday, I want to get the difference of sales of Monday from Sunday. So Monday minus Sunday. So I know that all I have to do is when I am in Monday, I need to get the value of Sunday to subtract it from the Monday value. So I'll take the sum of sales value, which will give me the Monday whatever the sales value for each cell, and then I have to pull up the previous value, whatever the cell that is before it. So I'll go to lookup sum sales, and my offset should be -1 because I'm going for the previous value, and calculate across order date. Okay, And if I pull that to text, yeah, so it's basically taking Monday value minus Sunday value, and here it is taking Tuesday value minus Monday value, and likewise. So what are the other functions that we have was quick table calculation, percentage difference. So if you just give a denominator of the to the calculation that we just made, it will give you the percentage difference. And we have percentage of total. Percentage of total can be made by, for each sales value, I just need to get the total sales value. So total function will give me the total of those values in the defined scope. So this will give me the percentage of sales value in each of, here it's 100%. I just have to change the format to let it be as a percentage, and it will be all right. And what other functions do we have? Quick table percentage of total, we have rank we have already direct function. Percentile also we have direct function. And then we have moving average. Moving average is where we use the window function. For example, edit, let's say it's a same thing we already did, window average sum of sales. Let's say we can, as we all discussed just now, we can give the offset dynamically or fix it. For now we'll go with the fixed offset from -1 value to +1 value, previous value and then current value, next value. Give me the average of that. So this would be the simple example of my running average function. So moving average functions. And compound growth rate is a little complicated. This involves some of the functions that we have not yet discussed from the other sections. We will do that later. And year-over-year growth is very straightforward. If you have the year involved in that view, we can do that as well. So these are some of the quick table calculations that we can do. So basically, at this point in time, we have covered all the theory that is required for all table calculation functions. In the coming sessions, we'll explore some hands-on exercises based on the knowledge that we have all gathered till now. If you have any questions, we'll take them. All clear?
Yeah, maybe Jagadish, in the next session, if we can cover some more examples, because I think in the past what we had seen was the window calculation really became some, critical in making certain, how to possible, right? How to do certain things, right? Maybe if you can cover some examples from those kind of things, it will be very useful.
Okay, examples on the window functions, right?
On the window functions, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Some critical places where it helps. Okay, so in some of those, I don't know if it was like painting kind of a thing, or there were some, the tough questions, right? The tough nuts to crack. In those window functions actually helped out. So maybe if you can just take a few examples, 2 to 3 examples, that will just give us a little bit more grounding on the function.
Okay, I'll look into it. Yeah. All right then. So that's all I had for today. Let me stop sharing.